Nobody cares that you're overweight in that section. Hey guys, welcome to the Upward Training Podcast. Today we're going to talk about 5 tips. I don't know why I put 5. Today we're going to talk about 5 tips on how you can lose weight this fall. First thing I want to talk about is that losing weight really just comes down to being mindful of what you're doing. Most of the time that things get out of hand is when we just, are just constantly just grazing, not really knowing what we're doing. And it's just being mindful. It's just knowing exactly that we are, I'm going to cut all this anyway, but I thought I'd do some sort of an introduction, but that all sucked. All right, so the first tip today is going to be leverage the seasonal food. So this is, apples, pumpkins, squash, sweet potatoes, that sort of thing. Your typical fall meals. And the reason you want to leverage these or take advantage is because they're fresher. They're going to be in season, so they're going to, for one, taste better, and they're going to be more nutritious. Obviously, with it transitioning to fall from summer, you're not going to have your fruits that you're used to, like watermelon, grapes. Those are going to be more out of season. So you really want to take advantage of the fresh produce that's going to be at your grocery store. The second tip is going to be incorporating outdoor activities. So for most people, it's going to be a lot better weather. It's going to get a little bit cooler, so you can go on hikes. You can go do more outdoor activities without, sweating too much and just it being unbearable. So you really want to take advantage of that better weather. If you have a dog, go walk your dog without their paws burning up on the sidewalk or concrete or whatever. Just be outside a little bit more and, enjoy the better weather. The third tip is going to be just staying hydrated. You don't necessarily just have to drink water. You don't just have to drink, your body weight in ounces of water. Add in some herbal tea. Just make it, if you like drinking, herbal tea, whatever, drink that. It doesn't have to be cold water. It can be hot tea if you enjoy that better. It's just the same thing with summer. A lot of people crap on, the Crystal Light or adding flavor to your water. It's still water. Does it add a little bit of calories? Does it add a little bit of sugar to your diet? Yeah, but are you drinking the water? That's really what matters the most. The fourth tip is just going to be regular strength training. This is just a consistent form of strength training that you like the most. It doesn't have to be your Olympic weightlifting. It doesn't have to be huge compound movements that you incorporate every day. If you're a beginner, start where you're at. Start at your level. If you need to just do some sort of split where it's a little bit of cardio and then a little bit of strength training or resistance training, do about 20 minutes of cardio and then do some sort of split of resistance training that you can, progressively overload. That's really what we're trying to get to, is you progressively overloading your resistance program. So a little example of this would be, we'll keep that 20 minutes of cardio. You can do whatever. You can walk, you can bike, you can do the elliptical, whatever keeps your heart rate at a steady state. That's called steady state cardio. And then from there, what I would program in is, if you're a beginner, we'd start with free weights. We would do, let's just say we're going to do a full body with me. If you're training with me, we're going to do bicep curls, tricep extensions. So we're going to do basically a superset of that, start out with there. And then we'll do a shoulder press or overhead press, depending on what we have available. And then we'll go into kettlebell squats or swings, depending on the level that you are, depending on, I said you're a beginner, but if you are a little bit new, a little bit more advanced, we would go into swings. That gets your balance involved so that we can start developing that. And then we go into some sort of lunge, I typically like to do reverse lunge rather than forward lunge. I feel like it's more natural to go backwards into a lunge rather than go forward. And people are a lot more controlled that way as well when they do that. And then from there, we would, if we had time, we would go into some core exercises. Now, this is for the beginner. If you are intermediate, what we would start focusing on is when you are with me one-on-one training, we're going to be focusing on 2 to 3 exercises, and we're going to perfect them. We're going to do 2 compound movements and then 1 free weight dumbbell kettlebell movement. So typically I like to work on a deadlift or a back squat as one of the compound, and then the other is either an overhead press or a incline or flat bench chest press. So those are the 2 types of compound movements that we're going to work on. So basically lower body and upper body. And then we're going to choose a dumbbell or kettlebell movement to finish off that hour session that you have with me. What this helps with is whenever you train on your own, you're going to have better technique. You're going to feel the muscles move the way that they need to because you were coached into doing that. And then that last one is really just to have a little bit of fun. Give yourself a exercise that you like to do and to put it at the end. So that's what I would do for regular strength training for this fall. So let's see. And then the 5th tip is, just mindful eating. I kind of mentioned it in the first tip, but it needs to be a tip on its own. It needs to be a whole key on its own, honestly. So mindful eating, especially for the fall and going into the winter, we have holidays going into it. You kind of want to train yourself into getting into the flow of, okay, this is how much I ate. I want to try and eat to about, 80% full. And if you try and do that on Thanksgiving or, any sort of Christmas party that you go to, you're not going to be able to do it because you're busy, you're talking with people, you're distracted. And that's where the mindfulness comes from. So you want to do that beforehand so you can see, oh, wow, like I'm 80%, 80% full. That just means you could eat a little bit more. Just need to practice that. So those are the 5 tips that I keep doing this. Those are the 5 tips for losing weight this fall. What we're going to do in most episodes is we're going to have a kind of like a case study of what we're going to do for a particular instance. So I went on Reddit. I am in this weight loss advice thread, and we're not going to name anybody. We're just going to read their description, what the struggles they're going through, and then help them out that way with however we can. For me, I'm really good at writing training programs. I'm not the best at nutrition and diet, so I'm not going to say that I am. I'm just going to give a really good breakdown of what they should be doing training-wise and a little bit of advice on nutrition. Reading it behind the screen, we'll see how it looks afterwards. So he is 22 years old. He's 6'6", and he's 538 pounds. He needs help and motivation. He's running out of time and losing the fight. I always was a hefty kid, but never got this bad until after I had my first relationship 5 years ago. I started out 265 pounds, and during the abusive, demanding, and tasking relationship she put me through, I ballooned to 325 pounds. Then after I broke up with her for cheating on me the whole relationship, I ate myself to death trying to unalive myself. Fast forward 2 years after the breakup, I start working on my health. I get back down to 340 from 485 pounds. Then I had a bad car wreck that caused me to not be able to get my license, not to be able to work or do anything. That started the cycle all over again, and then 6 months after the car wreck, I was 585 pounds. I met this wonderful woman who is the angel in my life. She has rescued me from me, and she has brought me out of the depression and gave me a purpose to fight again. I started physical therapy and had surgeries to get me to where I can move again and have a life. I'm working towards the license thing, and I had a job for a while now working from home. He is now about 70 days away from the greatest day of his life, marrying the woman. He's scared of his size and is afraid she's going to wake up and find him dead one day. I'm down to 530 pounds, but I just cannot seem to get the emotional courage to get to the gym. I really do want to get off, but I am so stressed lately. I am marrying someone and I don't have my life together. So we'll just break it down. So like I said at the beginning, he's 22 years old, male, 6'6". He's 530 pounds. So first thing I want to address, if you're marrying the woman of your life, you're already making the steps that you need to do by going out and asking for help. I think that's great. And I honestly think she knows that you love her that much. You shouldn't have to be worried about that. The thing that I think you need to focus on here for training wise and going to the gym is starting out easy. In James Clear's book, Atomic Habits, the best thing to do is just to start easy, start small. He uses a example of getting 1% better every day. Now, how do you get 1% better? It's just a figure of speech. You want to just improve every single day. Just get a little bit better until one day you're like, holy crap, I got this far. What am I like? How did I even do this? What we're going to do is start small with you. We're going to start with baby steps, just getting you to the gym. For you, I think the best thing to do is to find exercises that you like. If you like to go to the gym to walk and you can watch, whatever your favorite show you like to watch is, go there, get on the treadmill, the bike, the elliptical, whatever you like. Honestly, for 5:30, I think it'd be best for you to go on the elliptical. It's easier on your knees. You're not using as much, but you're also not putting as much stress on your knees for walking for however long the show is, 30 plus minutes, 21 plus minutes, whatever the show is. And watch an episode. Enjoy your time there. And then if you feel like going and doing strength training, go and do that. If you do, this is what I would suggest. For most people that are overweight, it's hard to have the motivation to go and do strength training, go into the weight section because you feel embarrassed, you feel like you don't belong there. Here's what I'll tell you. Nobody cares that you're overweight in that section. I'll tell you why. Everyone's there to improve themselves. I was the small, scrawny kid that felt like he couldn't belong there because he was too small and scrawny. That's where I started. I don't want to say unfortunately, but I didn't have to lose a lot of the weight. I was what they call a hard gainer. And that just means it's somebody that's really, it takes a lot to gain weight. So I didn't have to lose 50, 60 pounds, anything like that. I had to gain weight to be able to be where I am today. So what I would suggest is to not worry about that. The best thing for you is probably to be in the free weight section, because at that weight, and you're a really tall guy, 6'6", that's a really tall person. So what I would suggest for you is to go to the free weight section, to start with a upper-lower split. So one day you're doing upper body, the next day you're doing lower body. From there, this is how I want you to do it. We're just going to do 2 days. I want you to go in 2 to 3 days a week. You're going to do upper, lower, and then depending on which one you like the most, typically lower body is going to help you the most, but us guys, we like to do upper body. So for upper body, I want you to do 3 sets of 8 to 12 bicep curls at a light to medium weight. I want you to do incline dumbbell bench press. Same thing, 3 to 8, 3 sets of 8 to 12 at light to medium weight. I want you to do the same thing, 3 sets, 8 to 12 of upright rows. I do want you to get to the cable machines. And what I want you to do is 3 sets of 12 rope tricep push downs. And I want you to do a really lightweight. I want it to be easy the whole time through that exercise. And then for the last thing, I want you can do one of 2 things. You can do dumbbell or you can do barbell depending on your gym. But I want you to do 4 sets of 6 to 8 overhead press at a medium weight. So whenever you think of medium weight, it's difficult to get to 8, but you could do a couple more. That's how I think of it. So for legs, we're going to keep it pretty simple. We're going to do kettlebell squats, same thing, 3 sets of 8 to 12. If you can, kettlebell lunges, 3 sets of 6 each leg, so that's 12 sets total. 12 reps total for each set. 3 sets of calf raises, no weight, just body weight. And then I want you to do a hamstring curl and a leg extension, 3 sets of 8 to 12. And that's how I'd build out your program. This can obviously change. You could be a lot more agile and not have to worry about your legs as much. I can just tell from your post. But yeah, that's what I would do for your program. And I think you'd have phenomenal success. We'd obviously reevaluate after about, I would say 3 to 4 months. We may be able to put you in, want to do more barbell exercises. And maybe add more cardio, take off more cardio. It would really just depend on how your results go. But yeah, that's what I would do for your program. If you liked what you saw, hit that subscribe button, hit the like. I'm also going to start doing a online coaching program. If you're interested, it's a beta program. Go ahead and hit the link in the description and get signed up with that. Other than that, I'll catch you guys at the next episode. See you guys.